Hi there. I didn't see you there, and I've been doing some stuff recently. Ignore the hair because I just got out of the shower because I am sick, and it feels good to take a shower when you are sick. Now, today's video I am making was going to be a video about the anti-fairies that I was supposed to post on February 13th. However, due to recent news, I'm actually going to make the video about Nickelodeon possibly merging, and if not pretty much merging, with Cartoon Network. What does this mean for anything related to any of these two networks? I've seen a lot of people talking about the Netflix trying to buy Warner Brothers, but then Paramount stepped in and all of this other stuff. I'm trying to look at it on a more positive light, but also trying to keep in mind negative connotations that could come with this. Okay, so we have seen the old Cartoon Network ads on Nickelodeon where all the characters come on and they're like, oh, we shouldn't be here to advertise our channel. So we do know that Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network have worked in the past to air certain ads, all that jazz, right? So what I'm going to start with is probably the more negative sides of things with this merger, right? We saw that Nickelodeon had merged with Skydance, I think like late 2025 going into 2026, and that brought a lot of quietness from Nickelodeon, especially those of us who are big Fairly OddParents fans that had been waiting on Season 2 for Fairly OddParents: A New Wish. Let me preface this by saying that mergers aren't all that bad either, but usually from when I've seen them, they aren't the best thing to happen. Considering how Rise of TMNT was canceled and everyone really liked that show, especially weirdly enough after the merger with Skydance, it doesn't really bode well in a lot of contexts. So the other day when I found out that Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon were merging, I got a pit in my stomach. The main reason why I got a pit in my stomach is because I have been waiting for almost 2 years as of May 20th, 2026 for any type of announcement for Fairly OddParents: A New Wish Season 2. And with the recent cancellation of Rise of TMNT and the recent merger that might have caused said cancellation, of course, my stomach and my brain are like, is this good or bad? Honestly, for me, A New Wish is a comfort show, and seeing how long it's been since we've gotten any updates related to it, I don't have the best feeling in the world that the show/series for this will continue. And I know other people really like other shows from the network as well, so what does that mean for the other shows? What does that mean for any other revamps or reboots like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? What does that mean for the future of Nickelodeon? And this is where I come to a stalemate with this either being a good or a bad thing to happen. Because on one hand, more shows could get canceled and things could go down the drain really fast. However, on the other hand, there are some opportunities for some really cool crossovers. For this next part of the video, I'm going to talk about the positives for this scenario, right? I've been talking about the possible things that could happen negatively affecting things, and with mergers does come layoffs. But also, I would like to at least shed some positivity on this situation. Thank you, live action Odie. Yeah, so you know Timmy and Jimmy Power Hour. I'm sure you guys do know of that. Where Timmy from the Fairly OddParents and Jimmy from Jimmy Neutron essentially do cross-dimensional stuff and team up for some silly adventures. So of course, with the idea of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon merging, there is a good, high possibility that we could get some crossovers. Like, just imagine a Ben 10 x Danny Phantom crossover, and while I know Danny Phantom is one of the few Nickelodeon series that hasn't really gotten a reboot, I think it would be a good time to revamp it. Looking at A New Wish's art style, I think you could do something similar with Danny Phantom. Now, me being primarily a Nickelodeon and Disney Channel kid who didn't really watch much Cartoon Network, I don't know what other types of crossovers that could be possible, but knowing how passionate the fans are of these types of like animations and stuff, and there being Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon fans as well, I'm sure there could be some pretty cool things set in place. Okay, I'm back from a little talking break. So one thing I would also like to point out as a positive is the consideration of new show possibilities. Looking at how you have to pitch shows, right? You're looking at like the pitching process and stuff, and how like you go to different companies. It may make things somewhat easier to at least pitch new ideas and concepts if there's two different companies that have merged into one. However, I will say, as someone who has never pitched an idea like a TV show or a movie to a big name company, I'm not 100% sure if that increases the odds, if at all. I'm just saying, with there being two different companies with two different vibes, that could be a possibility. I am hoping that this forms some more creative avenues instead of just having multiple new different types of SpongeBob stuff. Don't get me wrong, I think SpongeBob is a funny show, but I think it's been so overdone recently. So I'm hoping with this new merger, we can maybe have a little bit of break from SpongeBob and maybe get some newer original shows. Yes, I would love season 2 of A New Wish, which is a revamp of Fairly Odd Parents, but I also do want to see new content, things that can push the bounds of what animation can be. Let's be honest here, Disney has kind of fallen off recently, and with their competitors such as Sony and DreamWorks making phenomenal animation and actually breaking the bounds of, like what I said earlier, what animation can be, I'm really hoping that this merger with Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon will also cause a more creative boom and needing more artists, especially with recent AI debates and recent AI issues. Of course, I could be too positive about this situation, especially when it comes to AI, but I really am hoping that there is a new creative boom, especially with the merger. And while yes, most of the mergers I've seen throughout my life have included not the best outcomes, I'm hoping this one will be at least a little bit different. However, before this speed paint finishes, I would like to say that fans do have the power to voice their opinions, especially when it comes to certain decisions that we don't like that a certain animation company may make. We have the voice to be able to be like, hey, we want more of this, or we want less of this. So there is hope in that aspect. And that's my opinion on the merger between Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. Will they actually go through with said merger? I don't know, but considering that the animation industry recently has been all over the place, I think it's important to talk about and look at these types of things. And I would like to take the time to thank you, my viewers, for sitting in on this video and listening to me chat about this merger. It's a break from my usual alternate universe fanfiction content I usually make about my characters and my friends' characters, or Fairly Odd Parents content in general, but I think it was important to talk about it this video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on this channel.